All right. Good morning. It's Sunday morning here in the big city in Ginza, and I'm on the way to a place called Kissamako, which is a kissaten in the Tsukiji outer market. Tsukiji may sound familiar to you because the Tsukiji fish market was located there for, 80 years or something like that. The market itself moved to the other side of the city several years ago. But the Tsukiji outer market remained. The inner market is where all the trading was done. And the outer market was kind of this marketplace area where there were shops, and I buy my knives from a place called Aritsugu there. Now we have to walk across the district to Tsukiji, where Kissamako is. They open at 10. It's a fairly warm day today, probably about upper 80s, probably about 30 Celsius. Relatively low humidity for summertime. One of the things about Tokyo is that there's a lot of walking, unless you have a lot of money. Taxis are expensive, so really you end up walking a lot, taking a lot of public transportation, or at least I do, because, I'm kind of cheap.
It's true, I'm cheap. It's why I walked all the way across Ginza instead of taking a taxi. Sure, I'm going to tell you that I walk because it's healthy, but really, I'm just being cheap. So why this coffee shop in the middle of what used to be the biggest fish market in the world? I read somewhere that in addition to coffee, the big thing here is a seafood soup known as ozoni. Ozoni is a soup from the Kanto region that surrounds Tokyo. It's part of what's called osechi ryori, foods that are traditionally eaten during oshogatsu. It's typically a konbu-based broth with fresh seafoods, and Kissamako is known for having a great one. So coffee and seafood soup, it's a strange combination, and I had to try it. Located to the east of Ginza, the outer market can be reached by taking the Tokyo Metro's Hibiya line to the Tsukiji Eki station or the Toei Uedo line to the Tsukiji Shijo station. From there, it's a short walk to the outer market, but since I'm coming from Ginza, it's a little bit of a longer walk. When they announced the opening of the Toyosu market across Tokyo Bay in the Koto Ward, I wasn't sure what was going to happen to the outer market. Were they going to move everything to Toyosu? Turns out they didn't, and the outer market is still thriving today. Though I'm not sure if it's still being fueled by locals like it was in the old days or strictly tourism. But it is certainly busy. For the most part, I try to avoid overtly touristy areas, and the Tsukiji outer market is definitely one of those places. While it might be a Sunday morning, it's jam-packed already. The COVID-19 pandemic is over, and tourists are here in full force. It's so crowded that I find it completely unenjoyable. I just want to get out of here. But I made the commitment, and I must try this ozoni. Kissamako was started by Masako Kumagai in March of 1961. It's called Mako because that was the nickname given to her by a man she had a crush on when she was young. It's located in the middle of the outer market on the second floor of the Nakatomi Building. No, not that Nakatomi. For a generation, it served the locals who worked in Tsukiji and was very popular. Kumagai-san operated Mako for 57 years until retiring at the age of 91 in May of 2018. Despite having Google Maps on my phone, I'm finding it rather difficult to actually find Kissamako. It's a bit hidden and tricky to find the passageway that leads to the stairs to go up to the second floor where the cafe is located. It's this hidden character that makes Kissamako unique. You don't just stumble upon it. You have to seek it out. You have to go there with intent. Because of this, there's typically very few tourists. And when I arrive, I find that I'm the only tourist in the place. In the summer of 2018, Tetsuya Yoshida, a bar owner in Ginza, was looking for office space for his business. His friend and second-generation owner of the soba restaurant Chosei-an, Soichiro Matsumoro, introduced Yoshida to Kumagai-san. During those meetings, Kumagai-san gifted Soichiro a pristine Coca-Cola glass that had been gifted to her in the 1960s by a Coca-Cola salesman named Yoshio Matsumoto, Soichiro's father, nearly 10 years before he opened Chosei-an in 1972. Because of all this, Yoshida saw how special and important Kumagai-san's work had been with Kissamako and decided to continue her legacy, reopening the cafe in August of 2018. And he's the one welcoming me into the cafe today. I've read there have been some updates to the interior, but Kissamako retains much of the Showa-era charm that it's had for the past 62 years. The classic low sofa seats are wrapped in beige vinyl instead of the standard red, and the doilies. There has to be doilies. It's an intimate cafe with seating for 12, 2 4-tops, 1 3-top, and a solo table in the center. It's the only empty seat left, placing me front and center facing Yoshida-san. The menu asks that everyone order at least one item. For me, that's easy. There's coffee and soft drinks like melon soda, homemade lemon squash, and something called Mama's Special Secret Stamina. I wonder if it's something to enhance virility, but since I'm traveling solo, that would be a bit of a wasted shame. For such a small place, I'm surprised to see quite a few food items on the menu. Since we're in Tsukiji, there's naturally a selection of seafood options like mentaiko, tsukudani, and yumcha, all sourced from different purveyors within the outer market. But I'm here for the ozoni and order the seto, seafood ozoni and a coffee. Looking around the room, you'll see some paintings. These were reputedly painted by Kumagai-san's sister, who she would tell people were made by a famous artist in Kyoto. If you compare it to some of the other kissatens, Kissamako could be called unglamorous. The cream-colored walls and wood paneling are maybe a touch drab, but to me, this is the character. Tsukiji is a working man's market. This is a cafe for the blue-collar workers of the market. I like it. And unlike some of the other kissatens in the city now, this one still allows smoking. Historically, kissatens were havens for smokers. The coffee and a cigarette pairing has been a staple for generations. And while I'm not into cigarettes, I do appreciate a place that offers the smoker a respite and decide to honor that tradition with a little Cuban Monte Cristo cigarillo of my own. After a little while, the ozoni arrives in this pretty and sparkly shiki bowl. Inside is a goodness representing the market itself. Roasted mochi from Tsukiji Onoya, the broth from chosei-an, and then the seafood from across the nation, red sea bream from Shizuoka, and clams from Mie. The ozoni is new to me and it's good. From what I've read, the ozoni here rivals much fancier restaurants around the city. The broth is a dashi-based broth made with kombu that tastes fresh with a slight pungency. The juxtaposition, of course, is the toasted mochi. It's chewy and satisfying. The coffee, though, takes a little longer than expected. Kissamako offers 2 basic types of hot coffee, a batch brewed coffee and a hand drip. I had ordered the regular batch brew, but the coffee that was in the air pot had been sitting for a while, so Yoshida-san decided to make my coffee fresh. I certainly appreciate that. The coffee is served in this white porcelain cup with outlines of blue flowers rimmed in silver. It's a pretty cup and looks to be as old as the cafe. That's the beauty of porcelain china. Properly cared for, it can last for generations. The coffee is balanced with good body. It's not overly roasted and quite enjoyable. It's solid. After a few more minutes of chilling, it's time to hit the road. I've got to get over to Shinjuku to meet Celia. Kissamako was great. Everything you might want in a kissaten, including things I didn't try like the meringue cookies and tamago sando. All things people in Tabelog said are worth trying. Kissamako is worth a special visit and definitely worth a stop if you're already in Tsukiji. Until next time.